Good day. My name is Maria Diaz, and I will continue talking about the topic of wisdom, which I expose in message number one and number two, because we all want to achieve success, but we cannot achieve success with the first layer, and that is wisdom. And I discuss with you message number one and number two what is wisdom and where do we get wisdom. In this occasion, I just found an author. His name is Chris Tigran, and I will be exposing some messages that he wrote in a book titled The 1 Year Walk with God Wisdom from the Bible to Renew Your Mind. This message that I will be exposing is kind of to give us another perspective of what I was just sharing with you on message number one and number two regarding success. He's titled this one as Where Wisdom Begins. As you can recall, on message number two, I exposed that the first layer for wisdom is the fear of the Lord. And you can find that in the book of Proverbs, chapter 9, verse 10. I remember, and please listen to that message again because I spoke a few verses and a few scriptures from the Bible, especially from the book of Proverbs. Others were from the Psalms and including the book of Job. But this time I will be sharing because I found this book of Chris Tigran very apropos with the topic that I just shared with you on message number one and number two. The title of his book is The 1 Year Walk with God Wisdom from the Bible to Renew Your Mind. And the author, as I said, is Chris Tigran. Today I will be sharing from that book the message from January 1st. It's titled Where Wisdom Begins. And I'm starting. We are uncomfortable with the idea of fearing God. We defend Him as one whose love is so great He needs not be feared. As in the book of John, 1 John chapter 4, verse 18 says, perfect love drives out fear. So we redefine fear as awe and reverence, like I expressed on message number two. Yet the scriptures use the term fear of God frequently enough to give us the impression that something more than awe is appropriate. It is the kind of fear that terrified the disciples when they heard God's voice at the transfiguration. Matthew chapter 17, verse 6. That overwhelmed Isaiah when he cried out, woe to me, I am ruined, in God's presence. That's in the book of Isaiah chapter 6, verse 5. And that drove John face down at the sight of the glorified Son. That's in the book of Revelation chapter 1, verse 17. Why does a God of love tell us that wisdom begins when we fear Him? Because when we approach the Holy One with a casual familiarity, we are not living in reality. We do not take Him as seriously as we ought. And we do not take our sin as seriously as we ought. Fear, not of punishment, but of the overwhelming greatness of God, sees Him correctly. When we stand on the edge of that vast, bottomless chasm that separates us from Him, and we behold the immeasurable expense He paid to bridge that chasm, we experience fear. Fear what would have been if we had never known the gospel. Fear of our own unworthiness. Fear of the absolute dedication to Him that is now required of us. When this fear grips us, we begin to understand the enormity of the gospel and of our God. That understanding begins to rearrange our lives, and that is what wisdom is all about. According with this author, I will continue reading. He says, that's exposition of the word. Then he comes into a separate aspect and he titles indeed. That means in works. It is vital that we know God's love and rest comfortable in it. But a true understanding of God's love begins with an overwhelming awareness of His greatness, holiness, and power, as they contrast our own sinful nature. There is nothing more fear inducing than that. But this is where we must begin. This will shape our self awareness, our relationships, our work, our prayers, everything we think and do. It will make us wise. Now that I exposed this message that is kind of complementing what I just exposed on message number one, on message number two regarding success, and it was about wisdom. I hope this message from the author Chris Tigran can help you to see beyond of what I exposed and to help you with your journey and make reconsiderations, reevaluate what you need to reevaluate, modify what needs to be modified because we all have a purpose and everything starts with God's wisdom. Otherwise, we are lost on a vast ocean. Yes, that happened to me. But everything has a purpose as well, so don't feel condemned, don't feel guilt nor shame. That's opposite of what he wants and expect from us. That's not the reason. These are moments for you to recalibrate your journey, delineate a roadmap that will help you to achieve your purpose in life. This is the reason you are still here on earth, to achieve that purpose and help others achieve their purpose. That's part of the equation of what is success. Remember that. But before I depart, if you're listening this message and you have not declared Jesus the Lord of your life, this is a moment for you to, yes, to step and stand tall and say, okay, I don't want to lose that. Why? Because a life where we declare Jesus the Lord of our lives will be different. It doesn't mean that we will not have troubles and issues, it's the opposite. But we will have a new hope, we will have a new wisdom, a new perspective of how to affront, yes, and confront what can be challenging us in our lives. A new hope with faith and also with purpose on what is happening. Not just like something that just happened by casualty. No. We will see it with a different perspective. And all you have to do is believe in your heart that Jesus died. Yes, and like God promised, on the third day he rose again to give you eternal life to you and for me. And then proclaim it with your mouth that you believe in this gift of Jesus for all of us. Well, until next time, and please encourage others to listen to these messages of wisdom now. Until next time, God bless you, and subscribe to the channel and share with others. This way we will continue in the process and the big project of healing our land. God bless.